How we doing, Robust family? And we have a show coming up now, and I know you're gonna love it. But before we continue, can I ask you all to just do me a small favor? I need you to give a robust smash to that like and subscribe button. It helps us a lot, and it makes sure that you do not miss a breakfast show beat. Do it right now, click that button, and I'll see you in the show. See you in a sec.
It's just getting down.
Good morning to you, Breakfast Show faithfuls. I'm your host, Robert Ashitey, your robust presenter, and now we are here till the hours of 10 o'clock this morning. And guess what? I am not alone. Never, ever, ever alone in this place. Joining me, the lady of sound herself over there in that cat corner. I could call it Cat Corner, but we are being modern in 2024, so we call it the Cat Cam. Good morning to you, Cat.
Good morning.
Good morning to Chu.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
I feel like I can just speak strongly to you, and if no one could hear the actual words I'm saying, they'll think I'm saying insults. But I am not. I'm greeting you with joy and gladness. So you ready to start your day, Kat?
Yes.
You fully loaded, Wi-Fi and inspired?
Yes.
Let's do this. All right, guys. And from the time of 8 o'clock, Kat has been dropping those breakfast show tunes this morning. I do hope you've been enjoying it. And also, guess what? The Table of Justice is almost complete here because it's a Thursday. It's a Relationship Power Thursday. And joining us on the Table of Justice this morning, on my right side, we have the one, the only, the lady in red. It's the one and only, Deborah. Good morning to you, Deborah.
Morning. Morning, everyone. Morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine. Just like on the go.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so perky. I just
on a mission.
Yes, I can see it. I can sense it. It is wonderful. It is wonderful. So I'm glad to have you here with us this Thursday.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again.
And also this morning, joining us today in this wonderful Table of Justice, we have the one, the only, the man himself, and also beside him, the one and only woman of justice herself. It is Miss Leonard and Dr. Shah. Good morning to you. Good morning to Joe.
Very special. Good morning
to
all my friends and families who are listening in.
You know what? You listen, like having Shad by your side like that, it's like you dragged him here.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, I don't want to go out. And you're like, you're coming, boy.
Yes, I went all by force. Yeah.
How you doing today, Dr. Shad?
I'm good, thank you. And how are you, Robert?
I'm alive and kicking, man.
Fantastic.
And what are you drinking this morning? Because we always see you enter in as the mysterious guy with a cup in your hand of
the same
brew.
thing that's in your cup.
What is it?
Actually, maybe not. Maybe not. Because I was about to say it out loud.
Yes.
But then I was like, you might get in trouble.
Okay. Oh, so wow. This ain't nothing that'll get me in trouble.
In this cup, there's just coffee.
There's just coffee.
If people have ever wondered where Robert's like morning comes from.
It's mushroom tea, maybe.
Mushroom tea? You remember that one? That mushroom tea was really good.
It's actually mushroom beetroot.
No. It's mushroom tea. Oh, you wasn't around them times. Sorry. I keep forgetting how sometimes I keep thinking that you're always the sound man, but it wasn't. We had actually mushroom tea from the gold thing, and it was really good. It was really good.
You should try it. Turkish and Somalian tea.
Oh yeah,
they're very they treat tea very differently. They don't use leaves. They'll use actual roots, but also like seeds and stuff. And they'll put that into the hot water too.
Like a chives kind of mix up. Not
kind
chives.
Of.
What's it called again?
It's more like a soup, but with sweet fruits or sweets.
I'm feeling it.
It's just hot water and.
Absolutely. And guys, just as tea marinate, are you ready to marinate with us this morning? Because today is Relationship Power Thursday here on The Breakfast Show. We look at good tips, tools, and ideas. Yes, Jammer. It's Jammer. Jammer. It is Jammer.
Presented by the expert of love. The one and only, 20 years successfully married, Robert Ashitey. Married to...
Sorry.
So a grown man with 2 children and a wife.
It's the music.
Well, I mean, we've never seen them, so we don't really know if they're real.
I've seen Hezekiah.
No, I'm talking about the listeners.
Oh.
No, I mean,
Oh no.
as in the listeners have never seen Robert and his wife on the radio program all together in one space. They're like the Batman.
It's kind of like work. Dude, what's wrong with you?
I'm just saying, in 4 years, you could have brought them on once.
These are unsociable hours.
You could have brought them on once.
What do you think? You think about being a parent, they have school. Right?
Once.
Do you know what I mean? They have responsibilities.
Weekend, holiday, there was no
not everyone
4
lives
years.
not everyone lives a single life like you, Dr. Shad.
True. Fair point. I'll give you that.
So your expectations
I'm just
are way
saying,
too high.
I would have loved to have seen them.
Oh,
and I'm sure I will one day.
Around
in
the
10
table.
years.
Around the table.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so nice of you, Dr. Shad. And as well as that, guys, it is J.R. Moore, a Relationship Power Thursday on The Breakfast Show. And we're going to be learning a lot from last week's Love Talk with Bishop James. And the subject today is going to be setting an ultimatum. All right. Now, guys, how serious does that feel to you? Like concerning relationship, setting an ultimatum. Now, Miss Lena, if you look like a lady who set a lot of ultimatums during the course of your journey. Wow. Yeah, right? Yeah. Because you have to put things in order. Yes or no, Miss Lena?
Yeah. The thing is, what is actually happening, doing an ultimatum, you have to do an assessment. You have to figure out where the problem is coming from, what caused the problem. And the thing about it, like my past experience is like you're hitting your head on a brick wall.
Okay.
You're talking and you're not getting anywhere.
So this is when we need to use an ultimatum.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to be learning a lot about it today. I know Shad's had to use ultimatums in his lifetime.
Really?
So has Miss Lenef, definitely. And definitely, I know Deborah. She just, Deborah's smiling here, but sometimes she put that Rambo rope around their head, and it's it's ultimatum time. Deborah. He said, "Don't mess it up. I'm smiling with you, but you don't know me. You don't know."
Undercover.
You don't know me. You don't know me. All right. And for sure, we're going to have a good time. So look, I just want to say a huge good morning to our listeners today. We have the one and only Mr. Gillette Smart in the live chat. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's Mr. Gillette Smart time. Are you ready for it, guys? Side to side. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
It's not ready yet.
Gillette Smart. Gillette Smart. Over to you, Mama. Lenef.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do
Over to Dr. Shad.
I've still commitments what I'm thinking of.
Yes, Shad.
You wouldn't get
Yes, Shad.
any other
Today, one only Deborah.
I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand.
Kathleen.
Never gonna give you up.
Breakfast show.
Let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
And that should do it. Good morning, Mr. Gillette Smart. It's great to have you with us on the show today. That is his intro. And also joining us.
Time for Janet.
We haven't got there
Funny
yet.
thing about that, someone deleted the audio.
No.
There's only one person that me and Kathleen are in the.
Wow. No.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah.
He really did it. Why?
To organize stuff.
Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, so we also have the one and only Lorette this morning joining us. Saying good morning, Robert and Kat, all BSF. It's Thankful Thursday. Have a robust day. Lots of blessings.
Thankful
And Lorette is in Jamaica, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Lorette is in Jamaica. So huge good. Our one talker. Maybe there's more listeners on the island, but at least we have one talker on the Jamaican island.
Nice.
That's nice. That's, I feel like that Jamaican patois energy just come upon me. I mean, I feel ready for the dancing.
And what kind of energy is that? The Jamaican patois energy.
That's it, Jamaican patois energy.
Okay.
It's full of life.
Like,
Full of life,
Anyway.
full of colour, full of greens.
Greens, reds, yellows, and black.
Is that what's been mixed into your coffee
Well
then?
done, Kat. You know what time it is. It's only one way to do it. We need to see more Jamaica on the scene, right? Sing it now. About a thing. You like this one, innit, Mama? Cause every little thing gonna be alright. Ba-da-ba-ba, singing no worry. That's it, Lorette's in the building. Great to have you with us this morning. Also, Sinead's here saying good morning, everyone. Snapper Hill Church connected. Mercy from Carter saying good morning.
You're right there, Mike.
Need to top up.
Of the Jamaican life power juice.
Yeah. No, keep that one under the bed. Keep that one. Yeah, that's it. Keep it. And I like that. Yeah, let me see if I can do the intros. Welcome everybody. A little bit of Bob Marley in there this morning. The cat's like it. Look, see what you're doing. The cat's side. So I can't say it. You feel it. Mercy's with us, saying good morning, BSF. Good morning to you, Mercy in Cardiff. Shazad, the retro guy, saying good morning, BSF. Have a blessed day and a beautiful weekend. Anna Tavares is with us this morning, saying good morning, Breakfast Show family, sending hearts to all of us.
Hey, morning.
Exactly.
Morning.
I love it.
Beautiful.
A very special good morning to all of them out there.
Absolutely.
Including my families and special friends.
Absolutely.
abroad.
And oh gosh, I gotta catch up. We got a lot of comments.
Do you want me to just go through some?
Yeah, go for it, champion.
So, Nicola from Wood Green is saying hi, hello. Mark from Croydon is saying, sir, have a blessed day.
What about David? Caribbean Christian.
David is saying, good morning, BFS. Hope everyone has a blessed day.
Beautiful.
Lorraine from Bullring is saying, Anna Tavares from is saying, yes, Robert, can you please one day bring your powerful wife to join the table of justice? Lorraine from Bullring is saying,
wait. You jumped over Mark because you said him before, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark from Croydon, you know what time it is. It is.
It's
Just retake that one a bit, Cat.
because Bobby was. That's it.
Welcome, Mark. You're awesome. All right, continue.
Elliot is saying, good morning, BFS family. May we all have a blessed day. Chanel from Kilburn is saying, good morning.
Lady Jazz.
Lorraine from Brewing is saying, good morning, Robert, Assistant Robert.
All right.
For those, and the Breakfast Show crew, Mighty Brewing, PCG Connected, One Dream, One Team. And she's also saying, yes, I agree with Anna Tavares. You should bring your wife to the table of justice.
Absolutely.
A powerful couple for Jesus.
Yeah, we can find out all the nice, juicy secrets.
Ooh.
Yes,
We
indeed.
need to hear her side of the story of how you guys met.
That would be
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a nice love talk.
That would be
Yeah.
very
Because
interesting.
we all know Robert's, we
Yeah.
kind of know Robert's side.
I think so.
Kind of, not everything,
Yeah.
but kind
I'm
of.
looking at like,
And we would also, I just want to hear what it was like to deal with young Robert
Yeah.
and how she kind of
Yeah, how
navigated.
she dealt.
Because you have to admit that was some skill, and you have to admit, Robert, the advice that she could give to the girls around. Because you ain't the only one that was like. I think that's a mistake that we all went through, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we understand how you were, your faults, your embarrassing moments, and how she handled all of that.
Yeah.
All of the embarrassing moments. I think it'd be wonderful.
You would
for us
love
to-
that.
I would love that.
I'm sure you'd have your notebook ready.
I would. And if she could bring any pictures, videos, any evidence
All right.
material of you during your younger
that'd be
days.
it's going to be a documentary.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be a breakfast show.
This is interesting. This is interesting. I think TV crew already have all my pictures anyway. TV department, they have
I'm
everything.
sure there's stuff that, maybe just breakfast show only kind of material. I'm sure.
You're too excited about
I'm
this.
sure.
You're way too excited, dude.
Robert on the hot seat.
What else we got there, guys?
So Elliot is making a song request. He's asking for Jonathan Mick Reynolds, no longer, and he's actually a very well-known gospel artist that's been around for a long time.
Ooh, lovely.
Lorraine from Boring is enjoying the English or British Jamaican vibe. Which is nice.
Okay.
Fantastic.
We actually have some Jamaican songs as well. King Without a Crown.
Oh no.
It's too upbeat.
It's too upbeat.
Yeah,
Too
too
up-
much.
Can I have a sample of it?
No, try. Okay, here at
Because
least
the way that he's
Play it.
for it, and you're like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Because
I
he's
trust
for it.
you.
No, play.
So guys, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started today. All right. And it's about setting an ultimatum. So we're going to take a very short time out. When we come back, we'll show you a few TikTok shocks, and then we're going to go into our piece for today from last week's Love Talk, where we're going to learn so much. Here's another thing just to bear in mind.
Pastor Gabriel here commented, wow, Relationship Thursday with the Ashiteys.
That's interesting. I thought we covered that one. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
We have a comment. Just to give a few statistics, right? So we got some divorce statistics from the legal standpoint. All right. And did you know that for 2023? That the Maldives had top 5 countries with the highest divorce rate was the Maldives, 5.2. Then it was Kazakhstan, which is 4.6. I told you language.
I'm surprised this isn't America or something.
I know, right? But this is global, yeah? I know, I would think it's America, right?
Because these are places where, culturally speaking, they don't believe in divorce.
But that's what I was thinking. But do you think maybe it could be because Maldives doesn't have a higher population? So
No.
on a ratio.
Is this the averages? Per 1,000 people, so it's averages.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one of those things. But guess one of the biggest reasons it has here? It says unfaithfulness. All right. The second is unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, but one of the most shocking ones I think is China. Because China, for example, there's something called after the age of 25, women are like they essentially lose their value in terms of marriage and dating. So for them to get married twice, or for them if they get divorced, the chance of them getting married is ridiculously low.
Wow.
But so for the divorce rate to still be high, it means that the justification must warrant such an extreme response, if I can
that's
put it
interesting.
like that.
And to have China up there, and they like you
know what I'm talking about, though, isn't it? About their kind of like the cultural towards women and age and marriage.
I don't know. I mean, because it does say per 1,000, so population definitely.
It's average.
Okay.
Meaning for every 1,000, how many divorces? So it doesn't matter if someone has 10. If someone has 10,000, it's only per 1,000. So it's averages. So it's averaged out. This is still.
But anyway, guys, there are lots of different reasons that relationships are breaking up, and
China's not those countries that doesn't like to tell people
that's
what they're doing.
Saying.
They like to find out what everyone else is doing, like Robert's phone.
Yeah,
but they don't like to tell people what they're doing. So for that. For that number to be high,
that's what I'm saying. But at anyway, these statistics, I mean, they're coming out. There's statistics everywhere. But the great thing is, in Love Talk, we're learning how to love intelligently, right? And so the great, beautiful golden nuggets we're getting, I'm sure they're bringing a sway to this trend of statistics that are currently and have been happening. So today we're going to learn about setting an ultimatum, something that is necessary. I'll definitely have to say
in extreme
circumstances, but also I think setting an ultimatum, I think it's a tool. It's a tool. It's a tool. Yeah,
it's a tool. Of course, I don't think anyone wants to be in the situation where you have to.
But what I'm saying, it doesn't always have to be extreme. It could be just a way to kind of like mitigate and control a situation. You know what I mean? In a communicative sense, because sometimes like we have unrealistic expectations. People don't know our expectations in a relationship because we haven't voiced it. And so sometimes we set an ultimatum. That's letting them know and say, look, this is a time frame to fix it. So we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn how to communicate that. It's going to be absolutely beautiful today. We've got a lot of material. And actually, I think I've got something here just to show you very quickly. One of these TikTok shocks. Let me see which one I've got there to show you. Well, I think, let's put the guy in the car. All right, this is an ultimatum. Yeah, this is an ultimatum gone wrong. All right, check this out, guys. This is quite crazy.
Look, we've had a good run, but I think it's time we go our separate ways.
What? What are you talking about?
Look, you're just not my person.
It's going really well. We've been together like 6 months. We don't argue.
I don't. Look, it's not you. It's me.
What does that even mean?
Look, I just don't like long distance relationships. Okay, I hardly ever see you, and I don't feel appreciated.
I thought we were a team. I follow all your stupid rules. I've been working on myself. Don't ruin this.
Look, we're just not going to work. Okay, take the hint.
So it was quite comical, all right, but we're seeing like this was obviously something that came out of the blue. This is something that was completely mishandled. No one knew where each other was going, you know what I mean? And Love Talk is, even though this was a joke, but Love Talk has been really great at teaching us how to communicate well, communicate effectively, and we're going to learn some new things today. Well, tell us, Dr. Shad.
Huh?
You had that glint in your eyes like...
Oh no, what was the last phrase?
Remove!
Okay. I thought it was vamoose or something.
Vamoose.
I don't know where but like basically git.
Yeah. But the lady thought everything was okay. She's like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is it. It's all happening here. We have Lorraine saying, I agree, Dr. Shad. Very exciting. I have my notepad ready, assistant for this special edition. Let's do this. All right. And also, if you did receive the video, we've got our online lady here. Not only does she do the cat cam, but she's also great with our social media, and she's making some lovely videos. Did you see the video?
Of the clock.
Oh yeah. But the one where you put my little kitty cat in there, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
We had a buzzer. Yeah, that's
we had
the
the
one.
buzzer. We had the
Yeah,
buzzer.
yeah.
I'm gonna get that buzzer actually. I quite like it. I think I might have it as part of the show.
It's like,
Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram.
That's right, guys. So if
And,
you are,
a quick little tip. If you want, what you can do, because I am really enjoying some of the highlights, especially with Robert. What you can do is you can actually subscribe to the Instagram, so you'll get notifications every time Liberty Radio makes a post.
Can you?
Yeah, you
I
can.
didn't know that.
Yeah, you can actually not subscribe, but there's like a notification, a bell thing.
Yeah.
That if you click on it, every time this channel or this person makes a post, then you get notified.
Okay, so let's do that. All right, look, we're aiming to reach 3,000. We're aiming to reach 3,000. That's the next number on the agenda. So let's keep it moving. All right.
And the
Mr. Leff,
year 3,000.
Mr. Leff looks like you're gonna. Now, how can I climb this wall? You're gonna look in your eyes.
So for us to commence, you climb the wall.
I'm joking. Mr. Leff, I'm
No,
joking.
It's
Let me go for a timeout. Let me go for a timeout. No timeout. We're gonna do. I know you can do this. Yeah. You on this wall. All right, we'll be right back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Wake everybody else up. It's your breakfast show. Let's do this. Here we go. All right, good morning, Breakfast Show faithfuls. It is it's a packed room today. If you've just joined us, this is your breakfast show. We're here every morning from 8 a.m. all the way to 10 o'clock. And today is Relationship Power Thursday. This is our subject matter where we learn together from last week's Love Talks material. And Love Talk is a seminar they have every Thursday at our help centers all over the globe. So definitely, if we want to learn to love intelligently, definitely you want to be tapping into that Love Talk material. And speaking of great material, we have one of our breakfast show titans parachuting through the glass ceiling of the radio studio this morning. It's the one, the only, the guy who was a Moses, but he went to the barber and, you know, he has those frills. He strikes up some beautiful poses. It's the one and only. Don't count me. Get it right, okay? Because we're going to stand. It's Will I Am. Good morning. Get out. All right.
morning.
Good morning, everybody.
We overstand. We overstand. We overstand. How you doing, warrior?
Honestly, I feel really good.
Yeah?
I feel really good today. Thank you.
Good. Well, it looks like you're full of glee, gusto, and determination. Love it.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, just as you're in here, we have one of our Breakfast Show faithfuls here. She's become a Breakfast Show faithful from Croydon. Guess what? It's Therese. And I have to say this. CRO2TA. Good morning to you, Therese. UTF soldier. Soldiers there. That's how we roll.
Oh,
And
she's
guys-
one of the UTF members.
Yes.
UTF Caleb prayer group.
Yes. And those who make themselves know, PCG. Yes, they
PCG.
made themselves. Yeah. So
What are the groups? I wonder what other groups we have in the chat.
I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge in a bit because we've got so much material today. Yeah. And guys, we do love your interaction on the show. And guess what? We're going to come to the next part of our shows. We're looking at the subject of setting an ultimatum in a relationship. And we have a wonderful question for you today that we want to pose to you and get your take on it. Kat, what's today's morning coffee question? Switch it up now.
It is, have you ever had to impose an ultimatum on someone or had one placed on you? What were the results?
All right. So that's the question we're asking this morning. All right. Have you ever had impose an ultimatum on someone or had one imposed on you? That is a question that we're asking today. So please type it into our live chat, or you could send us a quick 20-second voice note on our Breakfast Show WhatsApp line. It's the WhatsApp line. It uses the WhatsApp platform. So wherever you are on the globe, you can connect with us here in the studio and have your thoughts, voice, and ideas shared with the world. Ain't that right, Kat?
Yep.
What is their number?
It is +44 75 79 79 6845.
What did they get? Something like again?
+44 75 79 79 6845.
And don't forget, this is the 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year WhatsApp line. You can always send us a message wherever you are and whenever you're in the world and be a part of the program. And we will respond to you immediately if you give us a call.
Thank you, Dr. Shad.
Regardless of where in the world you are and what time it is.
That's very kind of you. Yeah, but
because I just want to, be responsive and
absolutely. But yeah, and also we have if it is that deep, we also have a 24-hour helpline in our health centers. Okay, 0207 686 6000. Just find that one out in there if you need it. There it is. All right, guys. 24 hours a day. All right. So look, this is the question we're asking. Have you ever had to impose a ultimatum on someone, or has it been imposed on you? How was the outcomes? You can send us a voice note very quickly. But guys, I want to show you something. I'm going to ask you guys if you had this experience in a second. But before we do, I'm going to show you a quick video. This is an example of ultimatum going wrong for wrong intentions. That's it, that right there, Kat. That's it. The African boy. That is it. One? Yes, that's one there. All right. I mean, this is. Check this out. Share your thoughts on this and answer the question.
Hello.
So you have decided to go down the path of isolation.
What?
What do you mean what? Haven't you seen my WhatsApp status? Your cousin got married. The wedding was fantastic. It was wonderful. But you know what the problem is? While he's getting married, you are sitting there like a fat, discombobulating mammoth, doing nothing with your life. Look at you. Where's my grandchildren? Are they ever coming? Or are you too busy on your island doing nonsense? You don't even have a girlfriend, let alone wife. My friend, you are finished.
But Strad, I'm still 19.
Yes, I don't care how old you are. You have 72 hours to produce me grandchildren. And if you don't, the beating you receive will be tantalizing. Finish that.
Do you know, are you from a Nigerian household? I'm sorry if it was a comedy, but that's so real. I'm sorry, there's parts of it that is so real when they're going into that dimension of rebuke and your African parents are laying down the law. But anyway, yeah. What did you notice about that? What things stood out for you? I mean, he set an ultimatum, clearly. But I mean, here in the studio, what do you guys think of that? I mean, Nigerian background there.
I think it's the irony, like with this kind of thing, that's always struck me, because especially, I think like the daughters in a family, like there's way more pressure on them to not date when they're young, and then out of nowhere the expectation turns, not even just gradually, just like on a sixpence, is from you can't date anyone to, how come you've not given me grandchildren?
Yeah.
It's like, what about that part in between where you find the person who you're supposed to like have that relationship with? It's like, yeah, for some families, yeah, that they don't quite grasp that. And I think like that was quite funny, where he's like, I'm still 19. It's like, you don't even have a girlfriend. Yeah. Like, I'm giving you 3 days to produce grandkids.
Yeah,
and there's no other option. It's like,
it's true. Yeah. It's true. Because I mean, the person's mate said ultimatum, but they didn't even think about it, isn't it? They didn't think about going from A to Z to warrant that ultimatum, let alone how they dealt with it. I mean, Miss Lenif, I'm quite interested to see what your thoughts on that clip was, just there.
First, the comments started off on the wrong foot. That's number one to start with. 19 years old, still a kid, man.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is like, how he could have a wife or a girlfriend, but yet he still sit down there and playing PlayStation, playing games. For example, don't laugh. This is not funny, right? If she actually, let's say she's pregnant and she go into labor, she's screaming, but he sit down there
Okay. Yeah. So it's very unrealistic.
So marriage is not for children. Marriage is for adults.
Yeah.
So it's very unrealistic, and the person setting the ultimatum was coming from a place of anxiety, coming from an emotional place, right? So we really have to kind of learn the skills to manage our emotions, to manage our expectations before we set an ultimatum, right? And also, I think also the intention was completely way off, because your cousin, my brother is having grandchildren. Where are my grandchildren?
Yeah.
Where are mine? All right, because the brain's gone out the window, jumped out the body. And also, I think the communication, the way he was speaking as well, wouldn't get the outcome that he wanted. So these are great. This is just a comedy, but we're seeing things that we learn from the love talk that we can actually, follow to take something out of this strange comedy. But guys, we want to hear from you. What are your experience? Okay, we're asking you the question: Have you ever had to impose a ultimatum on someone, or has someone imposed it on you? Let me see, anybody here in the studio who has had that kind of experience? Let's hear from you guys in the live chat. Oh gosh, and Victoria says, Robert, why are you putting us on the spot like this with this comedy thing? It just is what it is. It just is what it is. It seems like we have children
reality.
in this. Yes. So Miss Leneth, I mean, you're a very mature lady. You've gone through some time. Have you had to put an ultimatum on someone before in terms of a relationship, or have you had it put on you? Like the guy was like, "Leneth, leave me, man. Leave me." It's like, come on. You're too strong, man. You got too much love energy. I can't take it. Look, you got to. you got 3 days to tone it down.
No, it's not like that.
No, okay.
This one was like a drinking problem.
Oh.
If you don't stop drinking, and at that time I didn't even know how to deal with situations like that. I used to smash things in the house. It was so overwhelming that I couldn't deal with it. Yeah.
Right.
But since I came to the church, it's a total difference.
Oh,
because
we all have our background, isn't it?
Yeah, because what actually happened is that now, for example, I'm here, I'm in the church. You come across somebody who don't come to the church. And the thing is, because I come not only that, the word you put into practice.
So you put an ultimatum for someone drinking?
Yeah.
How did they respond to it?
It was really negative. It was raw. It was verbal abuse.
So they didn't take it, they didn't accept it?
Couldn't accept.
Do you think you had a part to play in that, in terms of how you managed the situation at that time? Because clearly it sounds like you was a different person.
I couldn't understand because other people get involved and they was literally angry over the whole situation. And I'm just standing there helpless and don't know what to do. And this was before I actually came to the church.
Okay, that's
so
powerful.
Back then, for me, this is a big testimony. And I can go out there. I've already started doing speaking to people regarding that.
Beautiful.
And I'm not ashamed to talk about it.
Absolutely. So we had an example there. Old life, crazy situations, someone who was addicted, and obviously you had your own issues to work on at the time as well. Deborah, have you had to impose a restraining order on somebody? Sorry, not restraining, ultimatum, or someone had to put one on you?
No, I've had to.
Me not like you, woman. Me not like you.
I've had to impose it, and it didn't go well because obviously, when you're communicating with somebody and they're like, yeah, it's all right, and they think it's a game.
Oh, wow.
And then his time was up, the expiry date was up, and he had to go.
So a different side of Deborah.
That's how it was, yeah. I mean, obviously, I wasn't in the church then, but it wasn't a situation that I would just try to just dispose of the relationship, but you could see that, after the discussion, I'm trying to actively sit down and say, how we can work this thing out. And then the person was like, yeah, it's like, this is fun. And I was like, and
so you didn't take it seriously.
The expiry date came and it was just gone out.
Wow.
And that was finished.
Terminator 3, my goodness. Wow.
You can give someone a chance, but if they're not going to be serious and they're not going to actually try to work with you,
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. You see, this is it, man. I think this ultimatum thing is getting deep. What about you, I Am Will? I know you've had a very short life, but like, have you had to put an ultimatum on somebody? Clive, by the way, says, "Good morning. Oh, this is a very interesting topic. Drop it like it's hot."
It's a young man.
Yeah,
it's a young man.
I know he's had his deep encounters.
A young pumpkin, young kid on the block, innit? It's a young kid on the block.
Have you had to put an ultimatum on someone, or I had one put on you because you just couldn't leave a lady alone?
Honestly, I've never put an ultimatum on anyone. I did really think about it, but I don't think I've been in a situation where I felt like I'm at a breaking point, sort of thing. So I've had one put on me where it was my work schedule. I really did not have a lot of free time to make time to see the person I was seeing every week, and they also didn't live in London, to be fair. Like, lived a bit outside.
So long
London,
distance.
So, yeah, so it was quite a trek to like actually make time to go and see them. So eventually they want we never actually had an argument really throughout the time we dated, but it was just got to this one point where we had first argument, and we had a go saying, like, you know, I'm really not happy with like the lack of time seeing, like, you know, and it didn't get very abusive per se, but she did kind of get disrespectful to me. I did feel like with saying certain demands, like oh, when I say like I want to see you, like you just gotta make that happen. And I felt like it became quite clear that I'm not sort of meeting her needs in that she wants to be able to spend time, and I felt like that was super valid. But I also felt like she was not understanding what my own work life was like. I didn't think she could relate to me where I was trying to go in my life. So literally the relationship didn't last past that day, to be honest.
It's good because I think that ultimatum gave a reality check.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of said, okay, this is what we are, this is what we're doing, this is how I am, this is what you're presenting. Clearly there's a mismatch, you know? And I had a similar experience like that, actually. Very interesting. Dr. Shad, I know for sure you're a man of, I know, intrigue and suspense. I would love to know, have you had to put an ultimatum on someone or had it done to you?
Nope. So I put an ultimatum on God a few times. You know what I mean? Like, you have your moments with God where, like, God, something needs to change, or like in terms of myself or whatever, but never in a relationship, really. Because I always kind of felt like things like that are, some things are like, for you to get to the point where you're basically saying, if this doesn't change, I'm ready to walk away. Like, you're already in a place now where walking away isn't a bad thing. Like, you've already reached a point now. Like, essentially, it's for me, like, the way I saw it was the relationship or the connection that is between the both of you has gotten to the point where you're completely fine with severing it. Or else you wouldn't be given an ultimatum, right? Okay, that's interesting. Cause I mean, what is, you don't give an ultimatum. Like, I understand you have the smaller, like, oh, can you change this? But those are not ultimatums. An ultimatum is either you change this or I walk away. Okay, that's a very
unless
I've misunderstood what you mean by ultimatum.
Because we're going to hear a lot from Bishop today, and obviously you have different scenarios that require a different response. You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying about walking away, because I remember that. Like, when I was started in my faith, right, and I started to change and I started to tidy up my life, and I found myself being more involved in godly things, changing the music I listened to. But guess what? I still had a girlfriend.
Oh, actually, I just go on, sorry.
And you know, she would call me from time to time. Hi, how you doing? And I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm in church. I'm trying to because I want to stay away from her, right? And then her mom even invited me to come bring her to house, to bring me to where she is, to rebuke me, and says, why aren't you with my daughter? What's wrong with you? I used to get persecuted. The mom was drilling me. Wow. But I was like, in my head, I was just smiling and nodding. And she says, she thought she got to me. She says, okay, so you two will just be together, okay? You don't need to do this whole church thing. Just you two be, that's what she wanted. And I was like, and in my head, and then the girl was like, on the other side of the living room sofa. Okay. And in my head, I'm like, get out, evil. And I was like, okay. And I ran from that place. And afterwards, I'm like, you know what? Obviously, we're going in two different directions. Come, see what, if you like the place, If you don't like it, then we'll see where we go from there. And she came because of the ultimatum. She actually came, and we came out of Brixton. She's sitting at the bus stop looking at her phone. I think we had a Nokia 3210 or something like that. I can't remember. She was there looking at the phone. Snake game, yeah. So she was looking at her phone, and I was like, "So how'd you find it?" She goes, "It was really good. The service was really nice." I was like, "Great." So then, so you gonna come again? Nah. At that moment, because we had that ultimatum that brought a string of events, at least we knew where we stood.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I just had to say, look, I ain't doing this. But when we ended that, I grew wings. I was able to flourish. I was able to grow. The transformation that happened in me because of that single decision that was made wasn't easy, but
it was necessary.
It was necessary, and I wouldn't be here today.
I mean, it was critical. The reality is that you found a place where this like in your mind, and which is I agree with you, where if the relation was to continue, it would be critical for you, as in bad. Like the consequences would be severe, and so you had to come to a point where, look, either this is going to completely change or I'm cutting you off. And that's where my thoughts come with ultimatums is you have your like, oh, can you change? Like when you're in a healthy relationship, you can mention someone once or twice that, look, this makes me uncomfortable, can you change this? People make the effort, and of course sometimes we're comfortable with people and you might need to be told a few times. But if you found yourself at a point where, look, you either do this or I walk away, that's a very serious thing, and it's not something that you can just always say.
That's right.
And so again, it has this place, and it is and whoever has to do those things you're in a difficult place. That has to be given.
It's interesting, and I think it keeps things sober. In your example, there were some situations like you gave, and it kind of things were just unstable because of the environment. So we're going to learn today. We're going to learn today from the Love Talk material. We've got a comment here from Monica Levitsky. She's saying thank you so much. Okay, let me see. We've got a comment here from the one and only Illume. She says, I can't remember any as it was a long time ago. Oh, my friend, we have to remember where we come from, soldier. Global Ed says, thank you for reaching out. Okay, no problem. Then we have, both. Okay, guys, I want to hear from you guys. What's going on today? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of thank yous and all that kind of stuff. I need to know the answer to the morning coffee question.
People avoiding it.
I know, right? It's deep. We have Victoria saying, that's Africa for you guys. Clive.
You know what I remembered? Today's the last breakfast show before your birthday.
Why you have to choose now to bring? What
Happy
segue.
birthday to
Yeah.
We'll put some Stevie Wonder on.
Go on, Robert. Go on. You have to do this.
I've got messages to read. All right, let me just go through the messages. But wait, isn't it a bit weird me singing Happy Birthday to myself?
No. This is the breakfast show. It's totally fine.
Okay. So we have in a live chat the one and only Clive, all the way from Hackney. From Hackney, he goes on to say, good morning, all this is a very interesting topic. Followed by the one and only Patience. She says, I agree that in a sense. She continues, hey, Shad, sometimes you have to set a deadline. That's all I got. Just in case you won't forget. She said it's my birthday on Saturday. May the 25th is the best day ever. So I'm sure you will agree. And I'm sure you can hear me. Cause we're gonna have a party on the day of Martin Luther King. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So this is it. Saturday, gonna be a breakfast show. I'm gonna give an ultimatum to stop the music. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Good sound, lady. So, guys, we're gonna go into our Love Talk material now.
How old are you gonna be, Robert?
Guy, can you see the films progressing?
Yeah, no.
You don't know. I mean, I know you love streaming devices so you can pause and rewind, but it don't roll like that. It's a live show, dude. All right, so chill. Okay, so we're gonna be going into the ultimatum. We're gonna go into the first part of Bishop's material right now. So we're gonna be taking notes. Everyone, pay attention, and you can still feel free to send the morning coffee question. Oh gosh, you see, every time I try and move on, that's when they do it. All right, let's have a listen here. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and take it away.
For one in Breakfast family, so basically I was in a relationship before Christ and it was very toxic. He was doing dodginess and I broke up with him, blocked him on everything, and basically he went out of his way above and beyond to sort of get me back, like went to my workplace, spoke to my boss, trying to get people around me to be on his side so he can get me back in that sense.
Wow.
But then all of that was all in vain. So in my mind, I really thought that, like a guy can't go through all this effort just to keep doing his rubbish.
Yeah.
So I took him back and it was like the worst thing I could have done because he just got worse and worse and worse. Like, it was so bad. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that, I guess that's what happens when you don't impose an ultimatum, right? People think they can just have free range or free access, right? But we're going to learn a lot more right now. Bishop's going to break it down so nicely for us today, and you're going to absolutely love it. All right, we've got a comment here from Chanel saying, happy birthday to Ya. Happy birthday, Saturday. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. All right, let's go to the first part. It's your breakfast show.
Have you heard of ultimatums? Okay, do you think ultimatums are a good thing or a bad thing? It depends. But sometimes they are necessary. Ideally, you don't want to be in a situation where you have to present an ultimatum to someone. Ideally, you don't want that to happen. But sometimes is necessary. So today we are going to look at how to give an ultimatum to what is unacceptable. And before we get to the part of ultimatums, let me speak here to the singles. Singles, if you learn what we are going to talk about now before speaking about the ultimatums, you can save yourself a whole deal of problems. Because the time of dating should be a time where you set the ground rules for what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And if you don't make that clear from the beginning, you will have to be in a situation in the future where you have to present an ultimatum to the person you're with. So when we're dating, we get to see things about the person you're dating, or ideally you should, that shouldn't happen. And when that happens, you should immediately say, look, I'm sorry, but this is not gonna fly. Is that how they say it? I'm sorry, but this is not gonna fly. With me, I'm sorry, you can't do that. And if you say that from the beginning, the person knows where they stand. What happens a lot when people are dating is that they don't want to step on the other person's toes. Sometimes a person thinks, I've waited so long to be with someone, so now if I say something the person doesn't like, the person may walk away. And they start making concessions, accepting things that they shouldn't accept. Do you know what happens? If you accept something once, twice, that becomes not an exception, but it becomes what? The norm. And when something has become a norm, eventually you're going to have to get to a point where you have to offer an ultimatum. You are not controlling, but you're dating the person. Usually you go through a process of talking, and then you start what? Dating. It's different. When you're talking to the person, the first, I would say 2 to 3 months is not dating, is what? Talking. You find out about the background, the person's plans. Okay. Once you see that your plans are aligned, you then start dating. And when you start dating, it's different. You are exclusive. I don't date anybody else, neither does she. And then you start to notice that the person has gaps in their time that you don't know where the person is. Not that you are controlling, understand, but when you love someone, you take an interest in what the person does, right? So you see that the person said to you they went somewhere, but later you found out that the person wasn't there, or because you were checking, but you just so happened to find out because the truth comes to the surface, and then you say, look, I found out that you were not where you said you went. What happened? And the person can't give you a straight answer. And actually, not only don't they give you a straight answer, but they lied to you. Now you have a choice to make. Because if the person lied to you and you say to them, okay, don't do it again, guess what the person will do? They will do it again. Because the point of dating is not to say to the person, don't do it again. The point of dating is that you find out if the person lied, that's not the person for you, and you move on. Because if you say to the person, don't do it again, and the person sees that you said don't do it again, but then you continue being with them, guess what they will do? They will do it again. And you will marry that person, and then you'll get to a point where you have to learn how to do what? An ultimatum.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the show. Just thought I'd interrupt. If you haven't done already, smash the robust like and subscribe button. Why not? Why not? You like us, I like you. Why not? An ultimatum. That's right, guys. That's the theme. That's the subject matter today. And Bishop's literally gone straight into it. And I'm glad, like I always say, I'm so happy. Bishop covers so many basic things, especially in the dating period. You know, I always give a comparison to the things that we're learning now. And to be honest with you, I know that I was really, I've been guilty of this. That when I started to marry my wife, or when we got married, that there was this idea in my head, oh, they're of God, everything's okay. Oh, they're of God, they know. They're of God, they know what to do. Do you know what I mean? And it gets to a point where I'm like, no, this is X, Y, Z, this can't happen. But you feel like you shouldn't be so hard because they're of God and they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And unfortunately, that brought some habits that you have to kind of undo later on. So the fact that Bishop's actually taken us through this and explaining it to us, I think it's very, very good, especially for those who are single right now at this time. Setting ground rules. You know, you might have someone who's of God, but like Miss Helena, Bishop James is giving an example of Miss Helena, when Miss Helena said, look, I don't roll like that. And it's like, okay, I'm not gonna do that again, you know. But honestly speaking, I think I was very, very, very naive. Not very naive in a sense, but very, very
innocent. You were unaware.
Young,
like
yeah.
You didn't have the experience. It's understandable.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's where these conversations are good.
Yeah.
Because the reality is I think relationships are a skill.
Yeah.
And it's not something that just magically isn't downloaded into your brain.
Yeah.
And so it's not these conversations to have, especially when you're dating, really help you to understand. So for example, I myself like to make fun of people. And there are some people that's okay with, but there are some people that's not okay with.
Doesn't fly.
Yeah, and it's not a thing where they'll be offended or anything, but it's just like when you're romantically entangled with somebody, maybe there are some people that were okay with it, there's some people that weren't, and it was just a case of having that conversation, and then
having a conversation to understand why you make fun of people.
No, there wasn't a conversation about it. It was more like I just realized that I can't make a joke about this person.
Wow.
So because there are some people, you can just prod at them, and it's like a playful banner, like you're like teasing them.
Okay.
And then there are some people that they get really hurt. And so I was like, okay. But the point being is that understanding comes from experience, from communicating.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Lane, if you're gonna say something.
Yeah. What is actually happening though? It starts with the lady of herself, the way you were brought up.
Okay, so you're talking about women specifically now.
Yeah, in regarding to relationships. So the thing is, So, for example, but my mom, she really educated me on certain things, and I can't stop talk about it with her. And thank God. And then coming in to the universal is that I've learned so much. So before, my advice to people, before you even step, you could come to the love therapy, you learn. But the important thing you need to do is ladies, they need to work on themselves. And when you listen to with the self-help meeting, it helps you to go deep. Because when you don't do that, you land up into a relationship.
Did you let a lot of things go in the early days of your relationship during your earlier days? Did you overlook a few of the signs?
It's a lot of stuff, but I didn't know how to deal with it before I came to the church. But now for me, it's like I am fully loaded, and I am still learning. I'm still a young pumpkin because we never stop learning.
Love it.
So the thing about it is that the lady, the way she presents herself, it sends a very powerful message. It's like you within. You are the product of the product. So the character of God. So a gentleman, he's not looking for a girlfriend, he's looking for a wife. And this is what you call marriage material here. So the thing about it, the minute he holds a conversation, now we're dealing with a person here who is coming from outside, who is in the world. So he holds conversation, and the minute certain things he's saying, you say, stop, I don't speak like this.
Okay, powerful.
Because I remember
it
happened to me a few months ago, speaking to somebody, and I said, sorry. I just draw the line. So when they step out, you have to nip it in the bud straight away.
Beautiful.
And because of that, they're beginning to realize, this is a woman they can't mess around with.
Beautiful. We have M. Pedro here saying, good morning, BSF. Great to have you with us. She says, upcoming birthday to you, Assistant Robert. Thank you. Mercy says, so true. There can't be second chances after an ultimatum. Lots of laugh. I learned that the hard way. She also says, please stick to the ultimatum and boundaries to set. Learn from me, Mercy said, because she went into chaos because she didn't set it. And what you're saying is, you know what, even in the communication, you have to catch it right there, isn't it, to manage the situation well. Prince goes on to say, good morning, upcoming birthday boy Robert, and good morning, my son. Do you know who you're talking to? I'm joking. That's right, Robert. And good morning to the wonderful people at the table. All right. Here's an interesting thing. I don't know which way you two want to take it, but as a single man, a single lady, how important is what Bishop's saying to us? You know, for example, how to, because basically Bishop's doing what? He was teaching us how to take things step by step in a dating period. Like, people say, okay, I'm dating, I've got a girlfriend, I've got a boyfriend, but Bishop literally had to articulate the process, what dating actually looks like, what leading up to dating actually looks like. I mean, is that actually showing us the kind of environment that we're in now, Will?
Yeah, and I had to note down his step by step almost like entirely, because when he says like, oh yeah, you take a couple months to get to know people, I feel like that's somewhat the norm in quite a lot of age groups anyway, literally just because we're in the social media age anyway, and the sort of like tech advancement. But I do feel like something that I've heard quite a lot recently from like supposed like love gurus, and this will be like people who are like way older than myself, people who I assume I've dated a lot. They say a lot of pointers like your aim after you like, they'll be speaking to guys audience wise, and they'll be like, okay, after you've approached a woman and you've got a number, your aim is to not like sort of give away as much as possible, so because your aim is to sort of get a first date. And that your first date is when you're supposed to be going through those pleasantries and introducing certain things about yourselves. And I feel like I understood what they were trying to say, but I do feel like the way that a lot of these like love gurus are trying to like present this sort of advice is more like you're getting a lot of people to go into first dates with people that they're almost doomed to have a terrible day because they've not really given much information about themselves. They've not asked a lot about the other person because you're just because basically the advice is to be like, once you get the number, you're trying to schedule when you can actually get a date. instead of like actually trying to get to know that person a bit more.
That's true.
And I feel like a lot of people are doing that, and I feel like it's probably a decent reason why not too many people are dating very well with like good results.
Wow.
I'm sure
Yeah,
Robert can give you
because-
advice about how to,
What is
organize your first date.
why it's actually happening with ladies, where most of them, they follow their heart, and this is dangerous. With me, I go by the head and the eyes. Now, nothing wrong with people walking up to you and say they like you. You ain't got a problem with that. And even though you know them, but it's one alternative to it. So you just leave and just go and pray and ask God to show you what do you need to know about this person, and it can shock you to know right in the love therapy. You can get a confirmation right there.
Here's something interesting, and the fact that Bishop had to say, look, when you're dating, you're exclusive. Right?
Yeah.
When you're dating, you're exclusive. Because I don't know. I've heard a few things that there's a situation where people are trying to navigate the whole field, like in terms of talking to people. I mean, you're a part of the love team, Dr. Shad. You kind of see what's actually happening when people try to be clever. Has that actually happened where people like dating someone but they still have this one on the back burner kind of thing, navigating the environment?
Dating, no. Talking, yes. So and that's kind of something that's sometimes in discussion, is about whether or not you can talk to multiple people at the same time. But dating, actually, I know of cases, but again, these are not, we would consider these people like in these circumstances, because of what they've done, bad characters. So as you can imagine, love therapy, we only want to connect people that we would consider that has a certain level of moral standard or ethical standard in how they handle just interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
And if someone is dating someone and then they start dating someone else at the same time, or not being exclusive, because we're Christians, we believe that as to be deceitful. Because of course, naturally, you're, as Miss was saying, was that you're investing in someone to get married. The intention is to get married, and so you're kind of not giving that person your best effort, and you're also being a bit deceitful, because that is just expected. If it's a case where, like for example, I know of a case where there was somebody that was dating somebody, and then what they started to do was they started to get close to someone else. And the reality is that guy, he didn't have the courage to just simply tell the girl he was dating, look, this isn't working out. Because I think there was a lot of social pressures around him as well. Not to justify his behavior, of course, it still was completely wrong and shouldn't have done it regardless.
He should have been man enough to...
Yeah. So I know of those. I've known of cases that happen, but there are definitely things that we would like. These are like
no-nos,
massive no-nos.
All right, guys. And a great thing about the love therapy, if you haven't been already, it's an environment. It's a faith environment, and I know anybody can go through the doors of the help center. Anybody. But the great thing about the love therapy is that people are looking out for your well-being. It's in a nice, healthy, controlled environment where people are learning new things. So people are at different stages in their spiritual development, right? Because it deals with the core of your life, not just on how you can get your hands on someone, right? So you can be successful.
The way you said that. You know what? There are people really like that.
I know,
unfortunately.
I know.
Unfortunately.
But hopefully, even taking part in love therapy, people are starting to learn. I've heard people say this, that they started to learn, I need to work on myself first.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that, but for me, the best blessing of coming to love therapy was learning how to deal with people. So a lot of the advice that you hear, you can already apply them with just relationships that you have with other people.
Absolutely.
Like one of the best things I ever learned was from Bishop James, was 8 years ago, and I still remember the line. He said, don't tell someone they're fat, ask them to go to the gym with you, and if they say no, just pray about it. And that was it.
All right.
And then I took that in. No, but you get it, right? Like you get it, right? And the idea is, don't bring a problem, just if you're going to make a comment about something, bring a solution. So at least it seems like, even if the solution is like half or like dodgy or may not work, you're showing a good intention.
Absolutely.
That is
all right, guys. We're gonna have to continue now because we got a few other parts that we need to get through with Bishop's love talk material. So let's move on to section number 2.
You find out you were, dating the person, and the person was aggressive towards you. And you should say, no, hey. I think you got your wires crossed, because I'm not that person. I think let's draw a line here, because this should never happen again. And if you see the person has a problem with the temper again, then that's your cue. That should be your cue. So we could give many examples here.
And this is where many people make a mistake. They just literally follow their heart. So they see, but they turn a blind eye. He will change. Oh, but he's so good at this and that. Oh, he will change. And he will not change, because that's his essence. That's her essence. If you don't say anything, the person kind of loses respect for you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, she knows I'm cheating, so, she's a good one. She will just do my housework. She'll cook for me when I'm out doing my businesses. So they already lost all the respect for you, but there you are, afraid to say, hey, not with me. You see what I mean?
And perhaps the final example on dating before we carry on is that something that happens a lot. And I'm starting from the principle that we're talking about dating in a Christian setting, right? You're dating someone and you know what dating is like for a Christian. You hold hands. When you hug like this, right? Not facing each other. And you kiss, but even the kiss has to be refrained. But you see that the person wants to cross a line. The person says, oh, we're going to get married anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the problem with this is? Is that the person is compromising their principles with God.
Yeah.
When you are married, guess what that person is going to do? Guess what they're going to do? Compromise their principles with God again, but this time not with you, with somebody else.
Hit like it's hot. Ultimatum. Listen, guys, I'm telling you, Bishop is laying down the foundations today. He's laying down the foundations. In 2024, we hear a lot of talk about, women to be empowered and all this kind of stuff. And they have all these different ideas, but literally what we're hearing now for men and women is very empowering. Look, it doesn't roll like this with me, and sometimes, even as Dr. Chachad touched on earlier, that sometimes we're not taught stuff. We always go into things with the best intentions. We want to avoid conflict. We want to be a peacemaker. We think that the person, it can read our brain. We think that the person who we're with knows everything already, but we're actually there like a mirror to, especially in the early days, to kind of say, no, this is the borderline. This is how we work. This is how we operate. And here's an interesting thing about the barbershop. In the barbershop, I always sometimes mention the barbershop routine, because in a men's barbershop, the guys talk. And we have some of the guys who say, yeah, man, she's a good woman, man. She clean up my thing. And I'll say something like, so why don't you just marry her? Oh, man, she good. We good where we are. Blah, 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 blah. So he's getting everything he wants, and she's not getting no commitment. And he's boasting about it, and other guys are like, yeah, because they have that mindset. So it's when Bishop said that, we're talking about a Christian relationship, Christian dating, godly principles. You can't sidestep God. Outside you can do according to what you think, but if you're looking for a godly person, then that has to be inside of us as well, and that's what we need to look to and use these protect ourselves by setting these boundaries. Yes or no, Deborah?
Yeah, definitely, because in a relationship, in a Christian relationship, you cannot compare it to the world. When you're as a Christian, you have to put God first in whatever you're doing. So when you're putting God first, you're saying, okay, what does God deem as acceptable? What is right? So just like what Bishop was there saying, you don't compromise your relationship with God, because if you're going to do that, that's compromising your relationship with other people, and that's where the divide happens. That's where the problem happens. But when he was actually talking about, sorry, I just wanted to go back at what he was talking about in terms of things like abuse and lies, and those things cannot be tolerated. There's if there is violence, you're not gonna, ideally you shouldn't wait to get beaten up or to get yourself in a position where you're nearly dead. But if you could see that there's a level of violence, you could just say, this is where it stops right now, because this is not where it's going to go, because at the end of the day, it's not this is not honoring God. It's not honoring the person, and you're hurting someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to draw a line with that and lies. You know, he was talking about being slippery as well. You know, when you ask them a question and they don't quite answer the question, they go around the houses and stuff like that because they know they have no good intentions.
Wow.
You know.
They know they have no good intent, or maybe it's just in their characters, their personality. What's it Miss Helena said? She said it's their essence, right?
Yeah.
So in the dating or when you come to love therapy, you are working on yourself to get rid of your stuff if you're serious about your life.
Yeah.
But also because you're in the process of that action, you're able to spot what other people are doing. You're able to spot the intention of other people's heart as well, because you know what you're going through if you're working on yourself. You can see when a person has no interest in becoming better. You can see where they are in their walk of faith, isn't it? It's quite interesting, right?
Yeah, I think so, because there was somebody like I was speaking to, and they turned on and said, "But Lynette, I don't understand this with you. Everything you tell me about myself is true." And this is somebody 70 years old. Spot on. They were shocked. They were so shocked. And why? As I say, I will never give up universal for nothing in this world. The things you learn, it sends you to do a deep clean.
Have you ever said anything to make someone to have you ever spoken in a disrespectful way in the time that you've been obviously you've been alive, been in a relationship where you've been disrespectful? And tell us, if you have, where was it coming from?
So I've never been like disrespectful to anybody. I know that because even from my own families, I get a tongue lashing from them because as a young girl, you know, don't take things from a man if you're not interested. And there are certain things that goes around, because I have a brother living here in England as well, and he just had me to the treetop because of the proper example that I show is a lot of respect, not only in your love life, but life in general.
That's true.
So
I think that's good, because when you're dating as well, you can see, you're watching how they treat other people.
And then the thing about it too, with my friend who took me to church, she was my maid of honor when I got married. And she said, listen, if anybody wants to know anything about me, because we worked for over 12 years, just go and ask her. And even in England, I build that kind of character as well. So the thing is like you giving a reference on behalf of somebody, the type of person they are. This is so powerful.
Absolutely. We have a comment here from Patience, if it's a part, who says, yeah, sometimes fanatic Christians would criticize your decision by saying, oh, I thought you are a Christian, so you should forgive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's sometimes, yeah, you get that, yeah.
So, because you're standing your ground, you're saying, no, it shouldn't roll like this. And they think to be of God is for them to walk all over you.
No, you can't be a doormat.
I experienced that. Because they come to me with certain things, I picked up on it. And I say, no way, this is not going to happen, because guess what? You're putting God's name to shame, and there's no way I'm not going to have none of it.
Fantastic. All right, guys, so we're moving on. We're talking about having an ultimatum. All right, guys, not to tolerate, not to accept. Some people might even call them boundaries that Bishop's talking about right now. But we're going into number 3 so we can learn some more. Take it away, Bishop.
But let's talk about the ultimatum, because this is something biblical. In the book of Revelation, God he wrote letters. The Lord Jesus asked John to write letters to the churches. And he gave us the blueprint to how an ultimatum has to happen. Let's look at what the Lord Jesus says. I know your works, your labor, and your patience. So the Lord Jesus starts saying something positive. He doesn't start the ultimatum speaking about problems. Many couples, when they try to solve a problem, they only speak about what is bad. A conversation, a difficult conversation, should start on a positive note and should end on a positive note. Actually, we should call this the ultimatum sandwich. Okay, and whatever you put in your sandwich, the sandwich is always sandwiched between what? 2 slices of bread. So just like that, in a difficult conversation, the Lord Jesus gave us here the example. You start with the positive. Because even if your relationship has some negatives, surely there is something that brought you both together. You have to start with that. So maybe you start like this. Look, honey, maybe you don't have children, but maybe you say, honey, you are you are a hard worker. I admire you for being a hard worker, for being a provider. When I look at you, I'm glad I married a provider. The husband says, honey, I admire your care for me. You really always do your best to look after me. And I really appreciate that. You start with something positive. But then the Lord Jesus then said, but I have this, what? Against you. That you have left your first love. Remember, therefore, from where you have fallen, repent and do the first works. Or else I will come to you quickly and remove your lampstand from its place unless you repent. So let's look at the 2 things inside the sandwich. First of all, what is the first thing we learned about the ultimatum? You start with what? Something positive. Then the Lord Jesus made it clear what the problem was. You abandoned your first love. Let's say that in your relationship, in your marriage, you have this really good thing, this really good quality with that person, but maybe the person is a flirt. And you don't accept that, and you shouldn't. You say, look, I'm glad you're a hard worker, a provider, I admire you for that, but I've noticed we've had a problem with you flirting with other women, and I do not accept that. Whether it's online, whether it's in person, you have to end that now. In other words, is that clear? It's not ambiguous. The first thing in the ultimatum is that you have to make it clear what you want out of the person so you can go back later and check if it happened or not. And you have to, the second part is that you have to speak about the consequences. Jesus said, or else I will come to you quickly and what? Remove your lampstand. In other words, look, if you continue to do this, I'm sorry, but I can't be with you. But you have to be ready to stick to your ultimatum. Of course, not every situation requires an ultimatum, but we're talking here about extreme cases.
Yes, and when you give lots of ultimatums and you don't do anything about it, you just threaten the person, then they also lose respect for you. You see, the word is very important. What you say, you do. So, and that's why you are careful with your words.
Wow. And that, what a note to finish on. Right? That's why you're careful with your words, because you can easily get to a point where we could be in a relationship and be very vocal, excessively vocal, and we're just complaining. And it's like, it's got to a point where the voice is just complaining, and in the other person's ears, it's just normal for you to complain, but they're not actually hearing exactly what you're actually saying. So Miss Elaine is just saying to us here, value your words. If you're going to speak about something, don't just offload wherever, but try to kind of calm down and articulate your words in such a way so that they hit and the person's clear at what you're trying to get across to them. And I think this is important. The ultimatum sandwich sounds like a movie. All right, the ultimatum sandwich in a cinema near you. All right, but it's something very serious, because I remember my idea to solve a problem is to let her know my revolt. I wouldn't shout, because I never saw Jesus shout at people, but I would just start with, no, this has to change. Or I'd be very I'll be very stern.
Yeah,
I remember.
authoritative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not a lot, because I always have a tolerance level to like, you know, I'm going to give you a bit of time, you know what I mean? But what Bishop's saying to us here is that, you know what, commend the person, because from what I'm hearing there, we want to get the person to react positively.
Yeah.
And so if we go in there with all guns blazing, firing all the you know, M19 and AK-47s and grenades, the person's going to be on a defensive.
World War III.
World War III, the person's going to retaliate.
Yeah.
But Bishop's saying, you know what, from the book of Revelation, right? That's the example from the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
I see your good works. I see you doing this. I see you trying hard. I see you work well with the kids. You know, I see that, you know, say their good points, and then say, look, I have this against you. This is what I'm not happy with. And I think the person hearing that will understand that you're just not against them, or not on their side. You know, when I hear that, it's like the person who receives this, a compliment first, and then told what the problem is. They don't see you as an adversary. They actually see that, wait, you're telling me this because you're actually on my side, but I'm doing something that's causing a bit of harm, you know? So I think it was really beautiful. I mean, Will, what are your thoughts?
I was going to say the theme that was emphasized the most, I think, is clear communication. And I do feel like people say things like communicate clearly. I feel like it's like an overused sort of bit of advice. I feel like people kind of just know they should communicate clearly. I don't think people would purposefully communicate unclearly, because it doesn't benefit anyone involved. But I think what I appreciated was something that's a bit better than just saying communicate clearly, is telling people how to communicate.
Yeah.
So it was told as we've already discussed, like to go in with a positive note, to end on a positive note.
Yeah.
And I like what you said, where you said you want a positive reaction from someone. So I think, yeah, sometimes people need to kind of remember what their end goal is. It's not to go in there
just to win.
Exactly. It's not going in there to battle. It's not going in there to make that person feel some pain because they put you through some pain. It's if you want that person to change, you need to try and facilitate an environment where that can happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even though, you know, you might not feel like it's your responsibility, but, you know, if you want that change, you're going to have to put in something as well.
Yeah.
So I do feel like speaking to someone and letting them know, I'm not trying to speak to you like you're a criminal. I'm not trying to make it seem like you're the only one doing bad things in the relationship. But this is the thing that you're doing. This is how it makes me feel. And if you continue to do it, I can't continue to be in this relationship. And making all of that,
or there will be a consequence. There will be an outcome.
Yeah, there will be a consequence, and you following through on that consequence as well. That was a really important point that was brought up. That you can't just say you're going to do it and then you don't do it, and then you're surprised. Oh, why does this person still continue to do this thing? Because they don't. It's because they recognize, either consciously or subconsciously, there isn't a consequence for their actions, because you will lay out a consequence, but you won't follow through.
Yeah.
So I think that's what people need to get on board with. That there is no change without following through on what you said would happen.
And if the person values the relationship, they're going to hear you, right?
Exactly.
If you've approached with a sandwich, they're going to hear you out and be like, okay, you know what, I do value this relationship, I do value you. I may not have been able to communicate it well before or show that, but I understand. You know, through this communication, you've told me what you want. You told me the problem is. You showed me that you're on my side. Okay, you know what I mean? It's a positive outcome. Have you had to use the ultimatum sandwich before? I mean, how have you been in your relationship when it comes to communicating, from what Bishop said?
Okay, so I wouldn't even like kind of go back in the past, because that was before I came.
No,
to
it's
the
good
church.
because we used to have Miss Hepzibah here, and the great thing about Miss Hepzibah is she had 2 marriages that she set on fire. And the thing about it, whenever Bishop shares these things, she gives insights into what it looks like and how it can go wrong.
Yeah.
And that was so invaluable for us, isn't it? It was so good when we have it. So now she's gone on a different mission. It's like we have a chance to have you here, and you know what it's like. So it's good for everyone to say, oh, do this, look at that, because Bishop's doing that. But it's good where you can actually say, okay, this is what it looks like and this is what triggered it. You know what I mean?
In giving somebody an ultimatum, so 2 ways here. You speak, your tone of voice, your body language, and the other side of it, you can speak real firm to a point. So, for example, like, I will draw an example. Instead of coming to them and say, you need to stop drinking. I will turn on and say, I'm sick and tired of this drinking.
Oh, wow.
You see that kind of thing? It's like when I realize now, back then I didn't know, but I realize now, you're killing the person slowly with that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
So because of that, you realize now, to the back of my mind, back then I didn't know better. But now that I know, the situation is, I will seek help. Now the thing is, the person is willing, I support them all the way. So I'm here to give, I'm here to serve, I'm here to support, I'm here to go to the extreme end of it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
if you say something to that individual, especially if you say it the wrong way, or if the way you put it across, people say things, good intention, but they come off in such a gross way. You have to have a backup statement here. One simple sentence, you let them know. Why I let you know, Robert, why did I say this to you? What the contents of it? And then you begin to realize and to understand exactly where Lynette is coming from. So now you know exactly where you stand with her.
Taligado. Yes.
So I
Deborah.
wanted just to mention something quickly. I can see that time is running out. But you know, when Bishop was talking about the sandwich, I thought to myself, it actually brought me back to things that we would do, like when we were studying, because as students, we'd have to give feedback to our, to like the other students and stuff, and they use that technique where you use the sandwich, so you can see it be used in different ways. You can use it with your family, you can use it with the child, and you can say, you know what, son, I can see that you're trying really hard, and I know you've got some really, really good ideas.
That's
but
true.
You need to change this about yourself, and I know that you're going to be great, I know you're going to be fantastic. Boom, you give that child the confidence instead of saying, you know what, this is ridiculous, why did you do that, are you done?
Like what Miss Lynette said, you use your words to tear them apart.
You have to make them better and not bitter. And it's the same in that relationship. You can say, oh, honey or dear or whatever you want to refer to them, and say, you know what, I know that you're giving as much as you can to the relationship, but you know what, I see that there's something that you're doing that I don't want it to kill all the good things that you're doing. So so the feedback, it can be used, the feedback, I call it the feedback sandwich, because when obviously Bishop mentioned that, I was thinking about my studies and thinking about how you speak to people. It can be used in different types of relationships, not just a marriage or
absolutely,
or dating.
We have the one and only Charlene Maduro, our reporter there in Brazil, joining us today, saying bom dia, Robert, Kat, and Breakfast Show listeners. Good morning to you, Charlene. Remember,
that's the international correspondent that we have.
International correspondent. Our first international correspondent. It's absolutely awesome. All right, guys, let's go into the next part today. So I just wanted to check to see. Let me see what the time is in Brazil. Sorry, I'm just curious. I don't know we don't have much time, but I'm just curious to see what time it is in Brazil right now. Brazil right now. Oh gosh, it's different depending. Brasilia. It's 5:49 a.m. She's an early bird.
Wow,
She's an early bird. Wow, nice to have you with us. Oh, wow. Let's go to the next part, number 4.
Not everyone is like this, but many women, they like to use, well, you should know what you did. From now on, if you do this again, and then the person, indeed, he should know what he did, because for you to be upset, it was something major, isn't it? But you should spell it out. Listen, look in the person in the eye. We don't see any violence here, isn't it? Jesus is not shouting with anybody. He's been very balanced, but very firm. Listen, if you lie to me again, it's over. But everyone lies, it's okay. So you should be with those kind of people, not with me, because my life is based on truth. But if you say that, and then next time you get him lying, you catch him lying again, or she, this goes for both, and you don't do anything, he will just think, oh, she's not serious. She's just being dramatic. And actually, they make jokes. Or you're just being dramatic, and they just lose respect for you, basically.
And some will look at this and say, Bishop, this is very harsh. This is what you're saying, Bishop, is not love. Because love accepts the person as they are to a certain extent. Because the world now sells the idea of love as something that allows people to do whatever they want. That's not love. Love has rules. Everything in life has rules. Nowadays, people talk about open relationships, open marriages. Have you heard people say that? So they say, no, if you love me, you let me be with who I want to be. I've heard men say, Bishop, my wife knows that I have someone else, but in the end, it's her I come home to.
To have dinner.
As if that was supposed to be a
to have dinner and
something you celebrate, right? Love has rules. And then the end of verse 5, Jesus made it clear what had to be done. He spoke about the consequences, and then at the end he said what? Unless you repent. In other words, but if you repent, I will not take away your lampstand. In other words, the other side of the sandwich. You start on a positive note and you end on a positive note. Perhaps you're here with your significant other, and there are things happening in your marriage that are not acceptable. And you've been turning a blind eye to that. Or maybe the way you dealt with that is by raising your voice and shouting and fighting. But the way you have to deal with that is to sit with the person and to say, look, I love you. I don't want to lose you. But I'm here to tell you the following. This and this that you do is unacceptable. And if you do it again, I'm telling you, you're going to lose me. Unless what? Unless you change. If that person attends the church with you, they're listening to the same message you are, and I advise you later on today or tomorrow when it's convenient, sit down with them and have that conversation. If it's necessary, perhaps you have some things to work through, but you don't need an ultimatum. Not every marriage needs an ultimatum. But if you do, then you need to sit down with that person. And if that person doesn't attend the church, the same applies. You say to that person, look, I love you, but I want to tell you that this and this and this is unacceptable. But you who are single, remember, you need to lay down the ground rules from the beginning. Because if you don't, the person will say, well, you accepted it before, why don't you accept now? Everything in the world has a rule. When you become a citizen of a country, you have to abide by the rules of that country. Without rules, you have chaos. When you start dating someone, establish the rules from the beginning. And after you do that today, be ready to make difficult decisions. Because when the Lord Jesus wrote to the church, there was an ultimatum. Jesus gave them an ultimatum. Not because he hated them. We don't give ultimatums because we hate the person, but because we want the relationship to become better or worse. Better.
We give an ultimatum because we want the relationship to become better. It's not about just having our way. It's because whatever the person's doing is causing harm to one of the other parties, either because they're not aware or they're taking it very lightly, right? They're not doing anything to improve. And so the person in the relationship that this is happening to is like, you know what? I know my value. I know what God's thoughts are. And I'm going to voice this in a constructive way so that this situation can change. If you value me, if you value our relationship, you will comply also. If you don't comply, that's showing that clearly we don't have because two people need to agree, right? In Amos, people can't move forward unless they agree, right? So that means the two people are not in agreement. So once again, we're seeing that the ultimatum is showing us where we actually are. It's making us to assess the situation so we don't waste time in progressing our relationship to become better and better. It's absolutely so beautiful today. And here's an interesting thing. I think you might have caught that as well, Will. Miss Lady spoke about Jesus, right? How he spoke. Because when you look in the Bible, when you hear God speaking, when you see Jesus speaking, you don't see many explanation marks. You don't. Usually you see that he speaks and then there's a full stop. So that means he's not losing control and like, you know what I mean? He literally is just keeping eye contact, focused on the person, and he's saying what needs to be said. Let he who has an ear hear. Now it's with you. And this approach is a very, it's a very clean approach, to be understood very clearly, and makes us not end up putting ourselves in a bad light either. Hey, Will.
Yeah, and there's a slight caveat that I wanted to go into because that is trying to make sure that your planning or lack of planning doesn't come back to bite you later.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can look at it and think that, oh, I'm suffering right now because of the person I'm dating, without even realizing that because I failed to set a boundary early in the relationship, it helped cater this situation. It didn't necessarily mean that because I didn't set a boundary that this person is now doing this disrespectful thing or this thing that I'd rather they not do or whatever. Doesn't mean that you've encouraged the person to do that, but you've definitely not put the obstacle in the way to make sure that that's something that's not going to fly. And I think it was brought up a bit earlier, lots of people have different circumstances where for some people that they were lonely, now they're finally dating someone, they don't want to tread on someone's toes.
Yeah.
For some other people,
I'm glad you brought that back up. Yeah.
So for some other people, they feel like, oh, I'm a bit more shy, I don't even know how to go about this, and everyone has their own circumstances. But regardless of the reason, if something is going on and you don't like it, and it's not just in your relationship, it could be a professional relationship, it could be things with your friends or family doing things that you don't really like and you don't feel like you deserve. In all the situations, the longer you let it fly, the harder it is going to be to correct. Because a lot of human beings, unfortunately, despite age, we all like to sort of back ourselves, and we'll be like, oh, but how come this thing is an issue now? Like, who have you been talking to that's been telling you to come say this to me? Because before you didn't say anything. And the worst part about that is that the person is a little bit correct in saying you did not say anything before. Yeah. It doesn't mean that obviously if someone's cheating, it shouldn't even have to be a thing. But in most cases, when someone's saying like, oh, what's this issue? They actually have made a valid point. It doesn't justify what they've done, but they've made a valid point. Like, this should have been brought up before. So I think sometimes people need to allow themselves to stop a fire from, I'm trying to think, to not react to a situation, but I can't think of the word, but to
extinguish, or
not really, like almost to prevent something from even happening from the first place.
Like prevention is better than cure, sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah, it is, and it's a lot easier on yourself and on the soul than trying to allow a situation to organically solve itself, because it will never be a case that someone is going to randomly decide, oh, what I'm doing is actually bad. I'm going to stop it, even though she said nothing.
No, you're right.
It's never going to be that. Like, you have to take some control, even though it's not your fault necessarily that your partner's doing something bad, but you do have to take some control in making sure that it stops. And just to finish off, like Robert said, when you've clearly laid that out at some point, even if it's not the beginning, once you've given that ultimatum, you can go back and look, did what I say end up coming into fruition? Did this person take what I said on board? Because I know I communicated it clearly. I know I laid out what the consequences are. This person carried on. I know this person knows what the consequences are. So now I've got to decide, am I going to go through with that or not?
Well, I can add to what you're saying. There's a saying that you cannot bend a tree when it's old. So in starting something, people, I've got it where people think then it is very difficult to deal with. No, put right where it needs to go, because even with families, with friends, you got to draw the line here. You got to put respect where it needs to go, because, for example, When somebody come to you with some kind of filthy conversation, no, you gotta cut the neck of it. Sometimes your facial expression, it sends such a powerful message across that they will just have to back off.
Here's an interesting one. Bishop said, love has rules.
Yes.
How much of a powerful statement is that?
Very powerful, because the thing is, as I'm saying, love has rules. So let's say husband and wife, even going into like this bulletproof marriage, is every single thing. Even in intimacy, you have to learn to communicate, and is finding out how the other person feels. Are you happy? Are you okay? And different things like that.
Yeah, this is very important. I believe if you're in a godly relationship, you're afraid, like Deborah said earlier, to disappoint God in how you behave. So you're always thinking, how can I serve the person that I'm with? That's the mindset that I believe a person who's godly, they go into a relationship thinking, how can I serve? What does my partner need? And it completely changes things, because outside we hear people want to see what they can get out of it.
Because this is why, because the lady of herself, she has a character that is God-fearing. Every time her husband or her partner looks at her, she leave him speechless. He wouldn't even know where to go and put his face, because this is unbelievable.
Indeed. Deborah, just to finalize, we've got one piece that's going to be 50 seconds coming up shortly. But, I mean, you strike me as a very jovial person. Yeah. But how easy is it to put your feelings aside and to have that tough conversation?
I think it is hard. I think much earlier on, I could go like from 0 to 100. I could just say, no, this is not how you're supposed to do it. And then other times I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm not. And I think, like what was mentioned before, you're a bit concerned about losing that relationship, especially if you've been in that relationship for a long time. And if it's a marriage, you don't want to, as I say, rock the boat, as it were. But I think it's important just to communicate. I think my mum there's a saying that everybody says, but I know my mum said there's a saying, speak your piece and speak it quietly. And then it's true, you don't have to be
flamboyant.
You don't have to be direct and have to be harsh and but you must be able to say, you know what, I was just thinking, the other day, that this situation
that's going totally against the nature, because sometimes human beings do want to
of course
we want to give it to them, right?
Yeah, of course, definitely. And sometimes there are times, even like when dealing with family members, it's like I'll do this again. And sometimes it requires a prayer. It does. And then because I know sometimes you can have fire inside, like smoke and brimstone, and then you have to say, okay. And it's literally, even if you can't get down on your knees, you have to say, oh Lord, I need to have this conversation. Please guard my mouth. Please help me to communicate properly, and it normally works out.
See, so you're coming from from an angle of someone being very fiery. Let me just say what I need to say. But there's some people who try to avoid conflict. Right. There are those who are among us that want to be peaceful. They want peace. They want to be a peacemaker. But everything Bishop's sharing with us today is a very strong conversation, because whatever side of the fence we find ourselves on, whether we're the person that wants to, with aggression or anger, tenacity, let it out, or we're that person that wants to avoid conversation, we need to meet in the middle. And he's thankfully given us the tools with this ultimatum sandwich to communicate effectively, and like Jesus did, clear and concise without overdoing it. We've got a 50-second piece right now just to wrap it up for today. It's been great having with us. We have anonymous ending 14250 saying, don't fuel the fire. Absolutely. We can fuel the fire. Maybe there was no fire, the person didn't even realize nothing, like see what they were doing, maybe. Right? But our approach turns it into a monster.
Your tone of voice, your body language, and all the rest of it.
Absolutely.
And this is exactly, you trigger. And I've learned that.
We'll go to the next piece because of the time. All right, take it away, Kat.
Just something I wanted to add. For you to, first of all, like you said, ultimatums are not something you should do right, left, and center. and you should have credit. If you are in the wrong, how can you go and tell the other person that you should change? So it's a serious thing. You don't want to regret that conversation. You want to do it properly, at the right time, in the right way. I just thought this would be important to mention.
Yeah.
You need to have credit.
Yeah. And
Otherwise, you don't need an ultimatum. You need to be humble and listen to each other's complaints and agree that you are both in the wrong and that together you can change and move forward.
Yeah. And remember, don't do it with aggression. Do it with love. Because love is what brought you both together.
All right, so this is it. So don't do it with aggression, do it with love. Make sure you have credit. All right, so imagine you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. You're adding the insult to the injury and with a hammer. Right, and I think this is really important, and this is something that I've always had in my mind even before I got married, which I used to exercise in my family, and it's in Proverbs chapter 14 verse 12 to 6, and it says like this: there is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end of it are the ways of death. So it's a thing of we can be at fault. We can easily be at fault, and sometimes we can address someone else, but let's see what we could be doing to contribute to the situation first. I made this mistake in the beginning of my relationship, I would say, where there was a point where I was like remembering this verse, and I'd always be like, what have I done wrong? What have I done? So there's things that I think she needs to change, but I've always been like, okay, I'll write a list of all the things that you think I've done. I was literally that kind of person. I'm trying to find my fault, and sometimes we need to really be balanced, have a real good balance, right? Because sometimes they will say things that are just not actually really real, but we're learning to have proper intelligent conversation where we can address exactly what the issue is, something tangible, not just you're a villain that is like a vampire who drinks everybody's blood and leaves everyone as corpses.
That ain't good enough.
That's just hypothetically speaking. It's not really, there's nothing you can change because there's a person change. I'm just giving an example. All right, so that was nice. So we got to have credit, and speak very clearly. Guys, we've learned a lot about the ultimatum today. All right, and how to use it, how important it is. We've learned how to communicate today. Even I'm thinking to myself, there's some things that I think we've left over here that we need to address. Literally, these love therapy things are
so
absolutely awesome, so strong.
And I have a testimony with my cousin in the States because we spoke and he was talking about the difficulties he have in his relationship. And strange enough, I decided to use the rose on their behalf, prayed and everything like that. And he said he don't know what happened with his girlfriend. All of a sudden, she just changed. So now the relationship improved. I think they're on the verge now of getting married.
Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, it's a powerful testimony.
So we can't sidestep God, right? Even when things are completely crazy, if someone's willing to let God be involved, he'll be involved. However, if it's abuse in your life is at risk, my day, you got to get some help. Or him or she or her, whoever, male or female, because men get it as well from women. All right. So look, guys, it's been great. The love therapy is tonight at 8 p.m. here in the Rainbow Theatre. If you are in another country or continent, guess what? You can get involved there and literally loving intelligently. You know, right, Deborah?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Deborah was excited.
Yeah,
she's so excited. The headphone
I
jumped out.
know.
Yesterday, to be fair, don't worry.
No, yes, indeed. Yeah,
It is. Now listen, to love and to be loved is the greatest joy on earth.
Amen.
How nice it is to be loved. Two people, they may have their indifferences, but again, it's the way how two people treat each other.
Lovely.
Especially, you have to give them the VIP treatment.
Absolutely.
Amen.
That's what we learned 2 weeks ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for just to wrap up today, just as Miss Lenif just wrapped up now, wrapping up today, how did you find it today?
I think it was awesome. I feel like it's like I say, like, you know me, I like when things are consistently brought up throughout the pieces. So, like we mentioned with communication before, but I really loved the stuff about like taking responsibility to sort of improve your relationship as well, even if you don't feel like you're the one creating the problem. But to take responsibility to facilitate that problem being solved, I think is an awesome thing.
Excellent.
And yeah, that was a really awesome,
Beautiful. All right, is Miss Lenif left up? Last piece, what's yours?
Yeah, just, thinking about what Bishop and Miss Helena was talking about being exclusive.
Yeah.
If you're a person that wants to have an open relationship, my advice is don't get married. When you find that someone that you want to be with and you want to be with them, you don't have other people interrupting in your relationship. If you're going to get married, be married. If you don't want to be married and you want to run around, that's a different thing.
And if you're single, spot the signs.
You know what happened? You know what
exclusive if you're married.
We got comment here from Chanel.
Marriage is not for children.
Absolutely.
It's for adults.
Absolutely. Chanel from South Africa says, how you speak to a person is very important. I remember my dad raised me with words more than a beating, and his words had more effect than a beating. Absolutely. So our words are powerful, guys. Let's learn to communicate intelligently. Let's use those, let's know the power of an ultimatum. If you're dating, we have the tools now to date very, very well. And if you're in a relationship, then you know what to do, especially being in a marriage or relationship for a very long time. That communication is key. All right, guys, it's been great today. Thank you, Miss Lena, for being with us today. You're absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
All right,
and I really enjoy every bit of it, especially this is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
Love is in the air.
Receive it right now. I also want to thank you, Deborah, for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
And also
Robert,
I am Will.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Kathleen, you've been an awesome radio sound, Kathleen.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. All right, and guess what? Tomorrow is going to be what day, Kat?
Tomorrow is Friday.
Yep, and it's not just a Friday, it's a Replay Friday. That's right, guys. Where you guys get to choose on our breakfast show WhatsApp line, which is appearing on your screen right now, what program that we've ever played that you would like to see replayed tomorrow, okay? So just let us know there. Send us a message on the breakfast show WhatsApp line. You would use the WhatsApp platform. And I wish you all a powerful, powerful Thursday. I'm going to have my birthday on Saturday. When I come back on Monday, which we're going to be live again, I'll be another year older. A who?
A present haul. Show us your presents.
I don't get presents.
I was about to ask you.
I don't feel, I'm not crazy about presents.
Monday's a bank holiday, right? So you would be on Monday?
Tuesday.
Because I would be here on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be here on Tuesday. Yeah, loving that.
Okay, guys, so we're going to get ready now. I wish you all a powerful, robust Thursday. Jesus is alive.
Poor Robert will come on a Monday. Nobody's.
I know, right? Not even Cat's here. Just in the room. The lights are switched off. Like,
she's going out with her friends.
Guys, God bless you. And until next time, don't forget Official Liberty Radio. That's the Instagram channel. Make sure you follow and join us on this journey. 12 p.m. we're going to have the one and only Soul Raising Hour here on Liberty Radio. So don't miss a breakfast show beat or a Liberty Radio beat or something like that. Anyway, goodbye. Ciao. Open camera.
Taligados.
See ya. Yeah. Bye. Okay, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that show and you actually captured that breakfast show vim. We laugh, we joke, we learn, and we equip ourselves for day-to-day life. If you want to see more, guess what? We're actually live with a live chat and a live video feed Monday to Fridays on libertyradio.co.uk from 8 a.m. in the morning. So don't miss a breakfast show beat. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and definitely connect online. And I'd like to see you there on the show. Type your name in, communicate on the morning. If you didn't already, we're also on Instagram. Check us out on Official Liberty Radio on Instagram. There's so much happening on that platform. Definitely go check it out. And I'd love to see you there. All right, have a good one.